Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another edition of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales with yours truly, Uncle Doug's. How are you all? That was a bit cheesy, wasn't it? I think I'm on the telly. Anyway, today's episode, I got flustered then. Today's episode, firstly, as always, I just got to say thank you to all the people that have been locking into the channel and viewing all the videos that I've been putting up, whether it's on this channel or on the Run, come follow Uncle Doug's channel and subscribing and commenting and liking. And even when I'm out and about, just mentioning it to me, and everyone seems to be enjoying it. So that's the main thing, isn't it? So thank you. Right, on with the show. So today we're going to take you to one of my favourite haunts when I was a kid. I went there from 1991. The last time I went there was in 1993. And I'm pretty sure I won't remember all of the stories that I'm going to want to tell you. And as I remember more, we'll get at some other stuff further down the line and talk about it. But today, we're going to be talking about 12 Dalston Lane, specifically the night called Labyrinth. Big shout out to Joe. Hope you're good, mate. Obviously, Labyrinth's back in the game, doing things again at the moment at 93 Feet East as we do this video. So make sure you support that, because he's an original G with an original brand that we all originally had a lot of fun at. So, what have I got to show you first? So, firstly, this is my membership from when I was 16, yeah? Membership number 3767. So, I was 16 years old. That's the back of it. Hopefully you can see that all right. And then this, get ready for this, because you might want to sit down and buckle yourselves up. This was me at the age of 16, yeah? It's a lot, isn't it? I know. So that's my membership, and I've got this here as well that I found. I've got some other bits and bobs. As I keep saying, as I come across things, we'll get them out and we'll get more stories. But this was a free complimentary pass for it must have been a Friday night they were doing there at the time. This probably was 1991 as well, I reckon. But it says on it, Club Labyrinth, 12 Dalston Lane E8, 12 Dalston Lane E8. Complimentary pass, admit 1 free on the Friday. So yeah, that's that. So where do I even start, mate? I mean, Berwick Manor was my local club. If I was skiing or if there was nothing else really going on, we would sometimes go to Berwick. But Labyrinth, Four Aces, that was what I would say. Through 91 and most of 92, if I had a home, that was it. That was my home club. I remember going there for the first time and walking into this, which I now know was the foyer to a huge building behind it. We was actually raving in the foyer of a huge dance hall kind of thing that I've later found out. I later actually went in there, we'll get to that in a bit. But it just fascinated me that it was so dark and dingy and no frills and loud. That was what I remember. I remember walking in there. The first time I went to Four Aces, and the sound was the first thing. And then as I walked in now, the DJ booth was up in the sky. There was some rickety wooden stairs on one side of the club. And when I say rickety, I mean rickety. And they went up to a little DJ booth that actually looked like it was going to fall off the wall at any point. It looked like it was just nailed to the wall. The whole place was just absolute shambles, but it was a beautiful shambles, if that makes sense. So, like I say, through 91, 92 especially, I was down there a lot with the little crew that I was knocking about with in them days, like my 2 older cousins and their friends and some friends from work. And yeah, that was the regular haunt. And as I explored the club, I realised that it was almost the perfect venue for a night called Labyrinth, because it was literally tunnels, underground, wonky staircases, and the garden that was just full of mad, uneven, mad stuff that when you're out in that, it was quite a lot to deal with just being out in the garden. But yeah, there was a downstairs as well with another room in the basement that had you went down the stairs and did a left and it got to the bottom. I remember there was a glass cabinet that sometimes they left flyers in, and then you do a right and you was in a room with a low ceiling that was underneath the main floor. So yeah, I don't even know how many people. I mean, I would hazard a guess at probably not that many. I would say, I don't know, 1,000 people at a push maybe. Maybe I'm even exaggerating there. But what I do know is every Friday and Saturday for a long time, that was the spot, mate. When there weren't a big event going on to catch your eye or your ear, Four Aces, for me personally, was the spot. And what was handy was, I don't know if I mentioned him in the Music Power video. Of course I did, when we did the one a few videos ago about Music Power Records in Ilford. Lloyd Anthony was a resident at Labyrinth at 4 Races at this time, and through my cousin, my older cousin, who was friends with Lloyd, just by default I ended up as part of the gang, even though I was a lot younger than them. So I was going to 4 Races. My friend was DJing there, and I was already aspiring to be a DJ, so I used to watch him and he used to blow my mind. He'd go up the stairs and he'd be up there DJing, and I'd be down there staring up like big wide eyes like, oh, one day. But it ended up being that we went there. I mean, I think in Christmas, it ended up that we went there loads and loads. Because Lloyd was there every week anyway, it was almost like a no-brainer. Like I say, unless there was something big happening, we went to 4 Races. I remember Christmas 1991, we actually went there Christmas Eve, Christmas night, Boxing night, probably the Saturday in between, but New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well. So I literally spent the whole festivities of 1991 in 4 Races at Labyrinth. And it sounds mad now, like raving on Christmas Day, like was a thing back in the day. You don't really get that now. Like nowadays it's hard enough to fill up a club or a festival or whatever on a good day. But somewhere like Christmas Day now, you just don't get that. But yeah, years ago, Christmas Day was a big night in the Raving calendar. And it's crazy to think that I would have gone out Christmas Eve, got on it, gone home, not ate my dinner, swerved my mum and dad probably, gone out again Christmas night and blah, 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 repeat right the way through till after New Year's Day. One thing I really do remember about that actual period over the Christmas New Year, we come out of the 4 Races club and my cousin Daniel had parked, there was a side road and there was a dodgy estate over the other side of the side road. Loads of times cars would get broken into, the security from the club would be chasing Herberts up the road with the mag lights and weighing them in and all that for breaking into the cars. But anyway, this particular night our car didn't get broken into, but we come out in the morning and like it was such a dark hole, 4 Races, and they would open the doors in the morning and you just felt like Dracula. The light would come in and there'd be all normal stuff going on. We've had this secret world behind these locked doors for the last 8 hours, but yeah, it was like your pupils are just like struggling to take everything in, you know what I mean? But we got round to the car and got in the car, and we were so out of our nut, we actually ended up staying in the car. So let's say we got back into the car at 7 in the morning. I swear we were still in the car at like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. There's a McDonald's round the corner on so we're on Dalston Lane, and I think, is it Kingsland Road on the corner there? There's a McDonald's round now. And I remember my cousin, he was a master, he could actually have a full body wash in a muck wash. Do you remember them? I think they still got them now, the little things like that. But I remember him disappearing to go and get a couple of hot chocolates or whatever it would have been. There was 4 of us in the car. And he come back and he just looked fresh as daisy. He'd had like a full all over, mate, in a muck wash in a McDonald's round the corner, and he come back with the hot chocolate. So yeah, that was 1991. Then through 92 we started going to Tasco Warehouse a lot. So Desire and Labyrinth are very similar in my world, because Lloyd was playing at both. It sort of seemed like, even though they were loosely connected through past events, and just, I mean, Joe and Phil, who run Desire and Labyrinth, both Tottenham fans, so they were quite close anyway as events and as sort of like promoters. But our link to it was Lloyd. So through 92 we was down there a lot, and we was going to Tasco to the Desire parties down there as well, which I will touch on as well on another video. The last time I went to Labyrinth was 1993. I mean, I remember there was a time when Erkan, we mentioned him again, funny enough, because he worked in, well, I said he worked in Music Power. Turns out that he didn't work in Music Power. I said that on the video that he did, but he didn't. But he was in there a lot, and I think he helped out, so that's probably why. But a common misconception, it seems. But yeah, I remember being in 4 Races with Erkan, who you guys again would know as Roland out of Grange Hill. And I won't go into it, but there was an incident with some amyl nitrate, which is poppers, you know, liquid gold, that stuff. And one minute I was at the top of the stairs, so the stairs went down, the garden was on the right, and then they went round, and the next thing I woke up and I was at the bottom of the stairs. I passed out through doing the amyl nitrate stuff, and he was there, Erkan. I won't get into the stories of it, but he was there. I don't even know if he'd remember this, but he was there. He actually picked me up off the floor and looked after me for a minute till I got my senses back. But yeah, I've got so many good memories of that place. Like the sound I mean, Eskimo Noise was the sound system they used in there, and it was immense and intense. It was chained. It was chained to the wall, so it didn't dance off around the club because the bass was so much in there, and there was little coves and little alleys, and it was just a lot. I mean, I'll tell you how mad it was. How it freaked you out. They had a thing in there called the Stairway to Nowhere. I'm glad I remembered this. So you would get up on the stage and go through this door, and there was a room, and it was just staircase all the way to the top. And when you got to the top, there was nothing there. It was just a staircase, like not a stair. The whole room was stairs all the way across, wall to wall, all the way to the top. Nothing up there. Apparently, there was a door up there, and it did actually lead to somewhere, but we never got to see that as ravers. But yeah, the Stairway to Nowhere was something that I really, really sort of appreciated at the time, because I was out my nut, and it was just very quirky that you just had these stairs in a room that went nowhere. But Labyrinth, 4 Aces, it was all about that. It was that era when we was all pretty confused with what we was getting up to anyway, and that venue and the way they promoted it, it added to the ethos of that era. Big up Joe, and of course big up Sue, and all the people that were involved in the 4 Aces era of Labyrinth, especially that early 90s era. It was so special to me, it really, really was. The DJs that they used to use, they weren't necessarily big name DJs. They would have a guest every week, a Kenny Ken or a Rat Pack or whoever, but it was your Lloyd Anthony, Roger Johnson, Easy Mo, people like that didn't really, I mean, there was a few residents down there that would work every week, and it had this real family feel, created by the residents and the way that Joe and Sue promoted it, and even the venue, and it made us all feel like we were part of this promotion, which other promotions didn't really, not that it was their fault. Joe and Sue had a very special way of doing what they did, and it made us all feel like we was part of Labyrinth. Whereas I would go to other events and I was just at a good event that I'd paid to go. I didn't know anything about the workings of it. So yeah, they really did create something special through that era that still, we're talking about it now, but still now, they've just done an event recently. It was packed, sold out in 2 minutes. So it still holds a very special place in people's hearts, mine included. I am actually playing at the next Labyrinth at 93 Feet East in October. Not sure if I'm allowed to give you the official date for that yet, but keep your eyes out for that. Obviously, I'll be filming down there for the Run Come Follow channel as well. So if you're down there, come and say hello. But if not, as always, please feel free, add your stories, your comments underneath to do with all of the videos, but this one specifically. Anything you like and love about Labyrinth and the 4 Aces era especially, add that underneath, and yeah, we can piece the story together from so many perspectives if we all add to it. So always encourage that. And one more thing before I go, which I nearly forgot, and it's really important. So 4 Aces closed, and it was an empty building for years. It just sat there empty and derelict and looking very sad. Every time I drove past it, very depressing. Now it's a tower block, and funny enough, they've called it Labyrinth Towers, and I swear that they spelled Labyrinth wrong, or right. Wrong for us, put it that way. But anyway, before they knocked it down, I went down there with my mate Jacko, and we broke into there. We took cameras. In fact, I've got some photographs. What I'll do is at the end of this, I'll put some of the photos up that I've got from when we broke in there. And we took a couple of bits of memorabilia. There was some flyers on the floor, and Jacko took, there was like plaster cast heads, like gargoyle heads in the corner of each part of the arena that we used to rave in. He took one of them. Years later, I did some stuff for charity for Sands, a stillbirth charity, and we auctioned that head. Joe gave me a first edition Labyrinth flyer, signed it, and it went for something silly like £1,500, honestly, for the little part 4 Aces nightclub that was left, and a flyer with Joe's, oh, and a t-shirt as well. But yeah, so you can tell what it means to people, this place, when someone's willing to pay over £1,000 for a piece of plaster cast, a t-shirt and a flyer. You know what I mean? That says everything. But yeah, so we went down there, we broke into it, we took the camera, we took torches, and we had a look about in there. And it was really sad because bits of it were burnt out, it had been squatted in, you know. It looked like the place we remembered, but it looked like a very sad version. But the one thing that amazed me, now I never went down there and saw what was behind where we were raving. I always, in fact, I never even thought about it. I just assumed that that was the club for years and years and years. When we went back down there and broke in, we went behind where we used to rave, and basically there was a huge ballroom. And when I say huge, I'm talking probably like a 5,000 capacity venue at the back, huge, huge. And when I looked into it, there was times over the 60s, 70s, whatever, the 50s, for however long it was open for, I don't know, that it was a thriving music venue. That was the foyer, the reception. Like, so you imagine when you go to somewhere like the London Palladium and you go into the reception and then you go into the... We were raving in like something like that, you know what I mean, for all them years, and I didn't even know it. But this place at the back. But the sad thing was it had all been burnt out. I mean, it was... I took photos of it at the time, but it was so vast and so empty and black where everything had been charred. You can't really make out what the photo even took, because obviously I just had a normal camera back then. But yeah, I'll put them photos up at the end of this video. I'll definitely do that for you. But that's Labyrinth, mate. 4 races. I'm sure other stories will pop up and other reasons to talk about that, because it was a huge part of my life. It was a huge part of my life. But for now, one more time, big up Joe and Sue, and big up all the 4 races Labyrinth crew, because you guys really did mean a lot to me in that era there. I learnt a lot of tunes, I learnt a lot of savvy, I learnt a lot of rave etiquette, and I learnt a lot of how to love, because there was a lot of love in that building, you know what I mean? Like, it was the ecstasy era, so there was love everywhere. But in that building, there was extra love in that building. Seriously, it was a very special place. So yeah, big up the Labyrinth crew. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe as always. Thank you to everyone that does already. But please add to these stories. All of the videos that you watch, add to the stories, because we're building up slowly more and more proof of what went on back then. So that when we're all dead and buried, this will all live forever. Our own personal stories, you know what I mean? So add to the comments. Tell all your mates, everyone who used to rave with, say, look, have you seen what Doug's is doing on his thing? Send them the link. Tell them to subscribe, obviously. No, but send them the link, and hopefully they'll tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and that's how it works. So yeah, as always, guys, peace and love, be lucky, and I will see you all soon, yeah, on the next edition of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales. Peace.